here?
I don't know, man. It's tough in these streets.
What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to CHGO Bulls pregame. Coming to you live from our studios here in the West Loop, downtown Chicago. You're out of there. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. My guys, Big Dave, Bow, BAWL Sports, Will, the GOAT, Gottlieb, Will_Gottlieb. He's wearing one of his many handsome flannels. Our pal and producer, Joey Spathis, on the controls. He is at Joey Spathis. We are CHGO_Bulls. Bulls Heat Part 3 on deck tonight. Split the first two of this season series when they played each other consecutively in Chicago. Now it's the Bulls' turn. They are down in Miami to play the Heat tonight and Saturday. We'll take a look at what's going on with the Miami Heat since we played them in late November. But before that, I just wanted to talk to you guys and to y'all out there in Bulls Nation about the crazy shit going on in the NBA over the last few days.
Okay.
Because it is wildly entertaining. Okay. And it honestly, I don't know about you, but it relieves my stress levels as a Bulls fan to just watch other crazy shit going on.
Oh, okay.
It makes it easier for me to forget that I hate myself and the team that I follow because they are letting me down constantly.
Wow.
When you just see crazy, it's like people who can't stare away from, a train wreck, that kind of thing.
So if you are involved in a train wreck, you want to see somebody else in a train wreck, and that makes you feel better?
Bingo.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But this is mostly harmless train wreck kind of stuff. Dude, whatever. Misery loves company. We all know this. But, I guess you can't say confidently that the Draymond Green train wreck is harmless because he is just physically out there trying to hurt people, it seems. Always had a bit of a label of dirty player, loose cannon, knocked out his own teammate at practice last year, and now, as of yesterday, is getting his second suspension this season for physical acts of violence on the court. There was the Rudy Gobert chokeout.
That's my favorite album.
Served that time. And now,
by the Electric Tomorrow,
Woj announces yesterday that following his karate chop to the neck of Yusuf Nurkic in their game against Phoenix, he is suspended indefinitely.
There's that word.
Yeah, what do you guys make of this Draymond stuff? Will? You're someone who covered the Warriors on the West Coast for a while.
And I'm a big Draymond guy, and I always have been.
Yeah,
but it's
defend
just
your boy.
There's no defending this. I mean, it's out of control, and it's like there's just no. Like, there have been times in the past where it's like, okay, maybe like Draymond was trying to yank his foot away from Sabonis, who was like grabbing it, and that's why he needed to like shake free and like, stomp on his chest. Maybe that was a natural motion where he kicked Steven Adams in the groin or whatever it was. I mean, you could like try to convince, but this is just, he was like touching your hip, and so you had to turn around and swing and punch him in the face. I mean, it's out of control, and I do, like, I was listening to the Low Post. Joey's laughing. I'm kidding, obviously.
I stomped on him. He grabbed my foot.
You him in the face. He grabbed my hip.
I think Zachla made a great point, which was that, like, this is now going to be, like, we're at the point where this is now, like, part of Draymond's legacy. Yeah. For every great thing that he's done, Defensive Player of the Year, just completely revolutionized defenses and switchability in the NBA, being a point forward, playing off of two of the great shooters of all time, winning multiple championships, and also like all-time like guy who punches people and physically assaults people on a basketball court. That's like, those things are now hand in hand as his legacy. It's crazy and it's sad.
While I was watching First Take yesterday, Stephen A said something I've been thinking when this came out, that remember when he was seen as the successor to Charles Barkley? And the guy was going to step in for him when Barkley retires. It was just going to be seamless, and everybody loves Draymond.
You mean as a broadcaster?
Cool. Correct.
Not comparing their basketball careers.
God, no. But, just doing Charles that
also
kind
liked
of thing.
To throw some elbows around.
He did, but not like this.
Right, yeah.
But he was seen as that kind of successor for that. And you don't hear people talking about that anymore. You just hear them talking about, oh my God, this dude is a bully. Oh my God, this dude is crazy. Oh my God, this dude is insane. He keeps slapping people and hitting people for no reason. to the point where people start, coming with their own conspiracy theories about the people he's attacking, about playing without Steph, about these own kind of things. So you don't hear those things anymore about Draymond Green. He's kind of doing it to himself.
Right.
And my favorite part when he was talking about the hip pull was he was saying, but he's grabbing me this way, so I spun this way. And I remember I stood up and I did it myself. And I said, yeah, but if somebody's grabbing me this way, I'm going to turn that way and not, do a roundhouse robin. You know what I'm saying? Come turn around on you like that. That's not how it's done. But Draymond, dog, something needed to be done, and you brought this on yourself.
Speaking of needed to be done, that's the other interesting part of the report that came out from Woj about what the league, the Warriors, and Draymond are all going to collectively try to do to address this issue, because this is beyond repeat offender at this point. This is like, Draymond may have some sort of weird. I think our guy Fish phrased it as a impulse control issue here in the comments, saying he's pretty explosive. But so Woj also added on this to the suspended indefinitely report. Draymond Green, Warriors GM Mike Dunleavy Jr., Bulls legend, shout out, and Draymond's agent Rich Paul are expected to meet Thursday to start discussing a path of counseling and help for Green to move forward. The league didn't want to put a specific number on the suspension, but allow Green to take the time he might need to deal with challenges he's facing. Green will be required to meet certain league and team conditions before he returns to play, the NBA said in its release. I think Shams added a different note that he will be allowed to be around the team and practice with the team while serving this indefinite suspension. But I think the big thing that a lot of people are wondering about with Draymond...
Can't do any damage in practice, can he? That's never happened before.
Exactly, Joe. Exactly.
Is the meeting certain league and team conditions before returning to play. We heard some similar phrasing during Ja's suspension last year, right? When he had his mini episode where he was caught on video yet again waving a firearm around, and the league was like, okay, timeout, and then sent him to some sort of whatever you want to call the place. Like, they didn't send him somewhere to lock him up, but they sent him to some sort of, therapy facility, some sort of program, and then said that he retroactively served the suspension that they ultimately levied in number of games while doing so, and then brought him back. And some people wondered if that was a little bit too quick of a meet conditions set by the team in the league to actually help this person who needs help. I think a lot of people are wondering the similar question about Draymond right now, when it's, all right, what's going to be the focus here? Is it going to be helping Draymond through whatever this mental struggle is he's going through, or getting him back on the court?
What I do appreciate about the league, and I always have, is the amount of opportunities they'll give you before they say, okay, dude, what? No. So I appreciate the fact they continue to say, okay, here's a suspension. Okay, here's a suspension. Okay, here's a technical. This last one just felt like they were more upset because this is just me speculating. It just felt like that he was sitting in an office looking right at Adam Silver on the last and was like, man, I ain't doing this no more, all right? I did it. I know I messed up. I did it again. And then he goes out and does it again. So Adam's like, dude, you were right in my face. You said it right to my face. You weren't doing it again. I am officially offended by what you have done. So now something needs to be done. I appreciate the NBA for always taking their time with players and allowing them the time to get to that point where they're like, okay, look, stop. Let's start over. You're messing up. Let's do it from this point on. So they've always done that. Like, as long as I've been watching basketball, I've always appreciated that, because some guys can stop. Some guys will just be like, okay, this is too much. You know what I mean? Like, it's enough. We're not going to do it anymore. Or it'll get to a point where you're just out of the league. You just won't play anymore. Dennis Rodman experienced some of that stuff. They just won't play you anymore. Draymond is in a different kind of situation for me, and it's kind of like like you just mentioned with Ja, because of the fact that mental health is now a thing that we know is an actual thing now.
Right. The league has taken big strides and attempted steps in recent years to take the stigma off of mental health with professional athletes.
Yeah, because when I was coming up, it just simply was not. It was drink a beer, have a cigarette, get back out there. You know what I mean? Let's see if you can do it again. So now
Dennis Rodman is found in the stadium parking lot in his car, with a gun in his lap. And everyone's like, whoa, you okay? And then,
right?
Yeah, okay.
Right,
and then
let's roll.
Move right past that.
Right back on the floor. Exactly, man. So I like that fact that the NBA is here at this point, because when I saw some people finding this kind of a laughing matter, and I don't find it a laughing matter, when you start saying, okay, man, are you mentally okay?
Yeah.
Are you all right? We need to talk, all right? You need to get to somebody and have a conversation, because something is not right. You keep doing this. Something is not right or not clicking. Maybe it's something you haven't dealt with. You know what I mean? Maybe it's nothing, but whatever it is, it needs to be discussed and brought to the forefront.
And I think what's interesting about this is you look at other players around the league who have had sort of precipitous drop-offs in terms of their production. Like Russell Westbrook comes to mind. And I'm not comparing character or anything other than just Russ was an explosive, all-time athlete at point guard. One of the great players of all time. But when he kind of started to fall a little bit, his game fell a ton because it relied so much on athleticism. I think he's been going from Houston to Washington to LA, now to the Clippers. He's kind of had to do some wrestling with what am I now in this part of my career? And, I think coming off the bench has been a tough thing for him. I think just learning how to not be the guy who has the ball on 45% of all touches is a tough thing.
Yeah.
And Draymond, it's a similar thing. I feel where he's just maybe not the same player that he used to be. He's not playing in the same caliber of games that they used to when they were making the finals every single year. And he's getting older. And it's I just feel he's declining in that way, and that's his response to it.
It's the classic, the juice ain't worth the squeeze situation when dealing with players who have a tendency to be more problematic or dealing with things that make running your basketball team and doing so successfully more complicated, like Dennis, or whoever it might be. If the juice is worth the squeeze, then you deal with it. But meanwhile, as you were saying, Will, we've seen a pretty significant drop-off with Draymond in his play this season. When he is out there, the Warriors as a team are falling apart, it seems. The CP3 experiment hasn't quite worked yet. They haven't figured it out. And when people were saying, you keep this core together, maybe you got another shot at a title, go for 5. But then the hang over your head part of Draymond's contract situation, Klay Thompson's contract situation. Klay is having himself a rough year. Then at that point, you're talking about ending a dynasty because it's not worth it and not working on the floor even anymore.
Yeah.
And then ending that dynasty on a pretty sour note.
Yeah, with a thump, with a clang and a trolley and a bell. So it's a weird situation for them. It really is. Klay, I thought, was going to play like this. I told you this before the season kicked off. I thought Klay was due for a decline. But Draymond already thought that he was in that kind of decline, but I never thought of it like you're saying it, Will, that this is my reaction to it. This is my reaction to me declining, since I can't do something else on the floor, or I lose my athleticism, I focus on assists, or I lose my shot, I'll focus on the defense, or something like that.
Focus on karate chops.
Draymond has always been a defensive stalwart. And to use that, you need your size, your athleticism, your speed, and all those, and of course your brain and your mind too. But you need all those things. So losing that speed, losing that athleticism, he didn't really have the size. It was just he was very intelligent, and how he played. Losing that stuff, with it, it can be a little detrimental, to your game and things like that. So, thanks for saying that, because it makes me look at it a little bit differently now, and maybe that is something that he is kind of coming to grips with, that my thing may be coming to an end right now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Draymond he has been really productive.
Sure.
And so it's not to say that he's just washed or anything like that, but at a certain point, it's is this the same guy? And it just doesn't seem like it is.
Have you noticed this? Sorry, Joe. Have you noticed a significant change in any? I mean, I know you're not around Draymond regularly anymore, but just from what you could tell, is this a different guy than the one that you spent some time covering?
It's hard to say. I mean, I was around them less than I'm around the Bulls now, and so I never got a chance to really get to know him. But I mean, he's such a smart, thoughtful guy. He's always been somebody that that plays this way, and if you take that away from him, it's kind of like Joakim used to be, where like I think he had a comment about making the All-Star game. Where it's like if he's not going 100%, then you realize how good of a player he actually is.
Yeah,
and it's like his effort and like mentality and mindset around just how hard do I play is a huge part of what makes him who he is. And so if you take away some of that stuff, then he's just not going to look the same.
It's like Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. And Russ, and like we talk about this to an extent with Kobe. It's like your shot's not falling. What are you giving me?
Right.
And I think that's kind of a similar situation maybe with Draymond. But I think from the Warriors as a whole, now you're looking at a team who's in 11th place in the West, who's 2 years removed from a championship. And it's like, yeah, I mean, what a decline that this group is having. Steph's still obviously playing as good as he ever has, but Clay is just not there anymore. And you know, it seems like the situation where they're just going to like have those three ride it out until it doesn't work anymore. But like maybe this is that point where it doesn't work anymore.
Boom.
And I wonder what's going to happen. How like these guys clearly still want to play. They still want to compete. They still believe they can. But there's all these other financial ramifications of like, you know, we're paying as much money in luxury tax as anybody ever has. Now we have to come up on a decision for Clay, who's just plain been bad this year.
Yeah.
And there's like, you can't trade him. You can't not re-sign him. So it's a tough spot. And I think that's kind of like we're comparing this to The Last Dance. It's like you're kind of faced with this other side, except Steph is still there and he's ready to win you a championship.
Right.
And you've got like Brandon Pajemski is now like your third best player.
Pajemski. Joe, do you want to weigh in?
No, I was just going to say, I was just thinking to myself about what what the comparison would be across any sport to like the only one that comes to mind for me, full respect to both, like the mental is like, it's a little Antonio Brown-esque to me towards the end of his career. And he's not only hurting himself and his legacy, but he's hurting his team, like a team that it's a little bit concerning for sure. The self-destructive tendencies, I think to a lesser extent, but like, how can you keep a guy like that around your franchise for much longer? No, regardless of like what he's done for you in the past, it's just tough.
Yeah, and the dirty plays thing, he's not the only one. And, you know, there's tape on many players in the NBA having a track record of being dirty players.
Sure.
If they are known for more than that because of the quality of their play, people can ignore it or look the other way, or at least just put it as a footnote. That guy's amazing, kind of a dirty player. Now with Draymond, it seems like that has superseded the respect of his play.
Correct. It reminds me, since you said that, of Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
He did the same thing with Evander Holyfield. When he realized he wasn't on his level and couldn't beat him, well, let me bite your ear off. You know, it's time to
In
go.
his defense, ears are tasty.
Ears are tasty. Can I say he dropped precipitous and ramifications all in this whole thing?
Dude.
Shout out to Will to go Gottlieb, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my God.
You sleeping with a thesaurus under your pillow?
It's only pregame. Stick around.
We got to take a quick break to shout out some sponsors, and then we'll come back, dive into the other hilarious thing that happened in the NBA last night. Giannis went bonkers, and then we'll keep y'all up to speed on what's going on with Bulls Heat tonight as well. While we're doing that, you know what to do. Thank you for hanging out with us on YouTube. Thank you again for hitting that thumb.
You're so nice.
Our guy Joseph needs the thumbs.
Needs them.
Tonight's pregame brought to you guys by Circa Sportsbook, who offer those tight money line splits and use their low hold model. You'll almost always see game spreads, over-unders at those minus 110 odds where they should be. None of that minus 115 or minus 120 malarkey that some of these other sports bettors are doing.
Get out of here.
They want to give you the value, not keep it for themselves. They also don't limit players based on their recent winning streaks, which is nice. They encourage bettors to not only download and try their Circa Sports Illinois app, but download any sports betting app that's available. And we know that there are a lot of them out there these days, which is awesome because sports gambling is fun. Try them all. Circa's convinced that you will oftentimes, more often than not, find that they have the best odds, the best values, the best play at Circa. They also unquestionably have the best customer service. Real people, the same real people who own, operate, and help their guests at the Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, handling any and all customer service inquiries with their Circa Sports Illinois app, not the dreaded chatbots. Download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also, be on the lookout for Circus' various events, watch parties, and tailgates. If you or someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Text GAMB to 833-234 or visit areyoureallywinning.com.
Read this. Y'all are hilarious in the comments, man. Goose Island beer. We like it. We drink it. It's delicious. This right here is Joey's favorite, the Juicy Beer Hug. He enjoys that. He endorses it. It is awesome. One more time, Joe, because you're an awesome person. CHGO is supported by the Goose Island Beer Company. It is Chicago's beer since the Jordan year, 1988. They got the 312 Wheat Ale. They got the Full Pocket Pilsner, Matt and Dave's favorite. That's why there's never any here. And said more. Beer Hug family, of course. And, of course, Oktoberfest is in full effect, y'all. So enjoy you some of that. All of it is awesome. All of it is delicious. So grab that ultra-fresh exclusive beer at the Goose Island Original Brew House from their tap room on Fulton Street in West Town. It is the Goose Island Beer Company. It is Chicago's beer, the true taste of Chicago.
Boom, boom.
Listen, first of all, I was laughing earlier because I was thinking about what Joey told us when he talked about collecting thumbs. I was thinking about that in my head, so I was laughing at that. Then shout out to Dreads who said he liked my shoes. Shout out to you. But Eco, when he said Draymond Green as Kermit Washington, the movie is hilarious. Do you know who Kermit Washington is? Kermit Washington was the guy.
I'm sorry. All I can picture right now is Kermit the Frog and Denzel Washington.
Kermit Washington was the guy who ran down the floor and broke Rudy Tomjanovich's face.
Oh, wow.
That is it. Almost ended Rudy Tomjanovich's life with one of the most violent punches ever.
Rudy had it coming.
Did he?
I always found Rudy Tomjanovich to be kind of annoying. I could never put my finger on why.
Well, I never saw him play, so I don't know. But okay,
even as a coach.
Okay.
Like, by the time I started watching basketball, Rudy was a coach.
Matt, never underestimate the heart of a champion.
I did because I was watching the Rockets win and was like, what is this? What is this? No, the Bulls are supposed to win.
Shout out Hakeem Olajuwon. Kermit Washington, the movie is hilarious. Well done, Eco Bean. I'm proud of you.
All right. Speaking of champions, Giannis is one of those.
He is one of those.
He won a chip a couple years ago.
He did.
He also went berserk last night.
Berserk.
Joey, do we have the video? Can we play the video?
Giannis wants the game ball. I think the assistant coach for the Pacers thinking make sure he's going to get it.
I love it. If you didn't stay up late last night, that is what transpired.
Yes.
So, short version, Giannis, Bucks franchise record 64 last night in a Bucks win over the Pacers. First time they met since the Pacers beat the Bucks in the in-season tournament semis. Giannis wants the game ball, thinks the Pacers have stolen said game ball, and just tears his way into the Pacers tunnel to confront them to get the game ball. After it looked like a Bucks assistant security guard is the one who got the game ball. Then there was an explanation about 2 game balls, a game ball and a backup game ball, and then we didn't know who had it. This is crazy. Dave, what did you think watching all of this unfold?
I'm so glad you asked me this right now. First of all, shout out to Pretty Ricky Fontaine, because Pretty Ricky, what they called him. When
Ricky
he says, told y'all Peck is evil. He looks just like Omni-Man. Hilarious. Hilarious. Hilarious.
Do I need to shave off this stash so people don't think I look evil?
Oh, man, dude. I'm going to show you Omni-Man. It's from Invincible, the show I told you to watch.
I finished season 1 today. I don't really see it, but I guess I sort of see the resemblance.
It's there.
The
J.K.
mustache.
Simmons plays him, man. He's the
I
voice
love
of him.
J.K.
Yeah, I
Simmons.
know. I thought you'd like that right there. He is a violent man.
I will take that as a compliment.
He is a violent man. You finished season 1, Joe? We'll talk about it later. Okay. This is all I want to say about this situation right here. As soon as I saw it, there is one man that popped in my head immediately. There's one man I think is behind all of this that I don't think people are talking about, and y'all know who it is that I'm thinking about. The second I saw them say assistant coach, the second I saw that happen, I said, I know who's involved in this. Who else would do some crap like this? Who else would galvanize a team to do something or be involved with this. That's right, the bald-headed menace himself. He's involved. He is involved in this. I don't care what you say. He's involved in this in some kind of way possible. When they said a Pacers player was saying that, I don't think that was a Pacer player. I think that was bald-headed menace talking. Don't give him the ball back. I think some way he got the ball and switched it out and did something about it. I really think that.
Didn't feel like the ball, right?
Didn't feel like it.
He had a ball, but it didn't feel like the ball.
That's what Giannis said when he finally went to the post-game podium.
Yep.
Because they asked, like, did you secure the ball? And he said, I honestly don't know. I have a ball, but I'm not sure if it's the ball.
Who else would take offense to somebody dropping 64 on you? Maybe a dude calling timeouts when you're down 30.
The other thing was that just like playing only garbage time minutes rookie for Indiana, it was his first career point. Yeah, Oscar, whatever. And so that's why the Pacers wanted the game ball to give it to him. And then that opened a different NBA Twitter can of worms debate of, well, technically he made a free throw in that in-season tournament game, garbage time. But the stats for the in-season tournament semis and championship game, because they aren't regular season games, don't count for your career stats. So he wanted the game ball of his first career points, even though it was actually the other day. All of it I found hilarious. I love where your head's at, Dave.
Thank you.
But the Pacers assistant coach, who was seen in some of that footage holding a ball that may have been the game ball at some point, when Pacers and Bucks players and coaches and staff are arguing with each other on the court after the game concluded,
I remember,
was not the bald-headed menace, but a different Pacers assistant coach.
I know, and here's my point. We don't know what happened when it went back there behind closed doors. I think that's where the old switcheroo occurred, is behind closed doors, because you don't see him at any point in time on the floor, do you?
I mean,
I'm telling you, it happened behind closed doors. The bald-headed menace is behind this. He's got something to do with this, man. This is something he would do. Tell me this ain't something he would do.
The good part is there's literally no arguing with that. You can't do it.
Something he would do, dog. No, we're down 30. I'm going to call a timeout. This is him.
Here's my thing. Oscar Tshiebwe is not going to ever score his first basket in the NBA again. But Giannis, just go score 65 tomorrow, and then you can get your own new game ball.
I mean, it's not like
his career high ball. Go,
I like your mentality.
Score another career high.
It's a franchise record. He set the Bucks franchise record for most points scored in a game. He deserves that ball.
He kind of did, though, Will.
He deserves that ball. Also, hey, Rook, you want a game ball? Go out there and score more than one free throw in garbage time.
Boom.
Earn your own damn game balls.
On my home court.
Yeah.
You want the ball on my home court?
I think Wob did a breakdown where he saw
phenomenal.
The final
Wob-vestigation. That's what he calls them. It's incredible.
At the final buzzer, the ref gave the ball to a Bucks assistant.
Yes, he did.
There's more layers to it. But, I mean, just watching Giannis, like, it reminded me of when Isaiah Stewart got into a fight with LeBron last year. Remember that? And he had to be like held back by 4 different people.
That is exactly what it reminded him when he was when Giannis was charging in the tunnel. Neither of those guys can be contained. If they want to get to the locker room, they're getting there.
Their mind's made up. You ain't stopping them. It's just that simple.
And Giannis, like, as much as he has that like lovable big guy persona most of the time, he does have a little crazy in him.
Hey, you got to be if you're gonna be that great, and that's why I like Giannis so much. He has that kind of insanity in him, man. Like when you put up the when he threw Mike Dunleavy into the 5th row.
Yeah.
That was some insanity. But that one I understood because Dunleavy threw an elbow at that dude.
There was some antagonizing that happened before that.
I got it. I understood it. So that's why I never ever held that against him.
Right.
But the way he did
escalation.
Right. But the way he did it was still pretty insane because he just bolted down the floor and said, wow.
He checked him like a free safety coming across the middle of the field.
Oh my God. It was yes, absolutely. But I'm telling you, the ball-headed menace has something to do with it. If he didn't take the ball, he encouraged them to keep the ball.
Oh yeah,
he switched the ball. He did something.
Do you guys think? Do you think that there's a correlation between the shenanigans in the locker room and the Pacers signing James Johnson today?
Yes, without question. When you saw Giannis checking Tyrese Halliburton, yelling at him, go get my effing ball. When he's snapping on him like that, they signed it. When the Pacers GM, when Carlisle said somebody hit the Pacers GM in the ribs.
You know what happens if
they signed him they signed him the next day.
You know what happens if James Johnson's there? Bow! Draymond spinning back fist.
And that's the other fun part of this is that I am in favor of real rivalries in the NBA.
Yes.
That's what I grew up on.
Yeah.
It's fun. It adds a certain level of drama
It is
and
fun.
intensity to these games, even if they are regular season games. And look, dude, Halliburton did sort of like a mocking, looking at his wrist, Dame time thing when he hit that nail in the coffin 3 against the Bucks in the tournament semis.
Forgot about that. You're right.
And then throughout this game, Giannis gave Halliburton a big old chicken wing under the basket.
Did give him one.
Then Aaron Nesmith tackled Giannis in the paint.
Little how's your
we
father?
saw Crazy Eyes Bobby Portis go crazy eyes.
Oh,
this
crazy eyes.
Bucks Pacers rivalry is budding into something real. And as an innocent bystander, I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, it was like watching, to go back, it's like watching the Pacers and the Knicks.
Yeah.
Or the Heat and the Knicks, It was like just sitting there watching it like, yeah, fight.
Yeah.
Yay, I like this because we're not involved.
All right, we are coming up on tip-off. DeBears 1920, I said, I love you guys talking about the rest of the NBA. Can we get starting lineups for the keys to the win tonight?
Sorry.
Yes, with our brief remaining time.
We apologize.
So, Caruso is back in the lineup tonight for the Bulls, starting alongside Kobe in the backcourt, taking Io's place after a couple of rough starts for Io, DeMar, Patrick, and Vooch, as has been the norm recently. The Heat, meanwhile, who are, by the way, 5-5, mired in mediocrity, but like the good kind of mediocrity, not the bad kind of mediocrity like the Bulls, have their own wealth of health problems right now.
Trash is trash.
Bam Adebayo dealing with that hip, out. Tyler Hero still dealing with the ankle, out. Haywood Highsmith, who somehow became one of the Heat, diamond in the rough gems, out with a back.
Bye.
Josh Richardson, out with back spasms. Drew Smith, out with a knee.
Out of there.
They are starting Lowry and Duncan Robinson in the backcourt, Emo Jimmy, Caleb Martin, and who is this random center that they've started the last
Orlando
few games?
Robinson.
Yeah,
My
there you
guy.
go.
I was watching him yesterday.
He's good.
Starting
not
him
bad.
over
Really good.
Stewart, which
He's
is
not bad at
interesting.
all.
He dominated at Summer League.
Hey, bro, he was nice
good.
yesterday. I was watching him yesterday, man. He's
He can
nice
do it all.
around the rim.
He can do it all.
Long arms, definitely offensive rebounding.
Protects the rim. He can shoot a little bit. He can pass a little bit. He's
And
a good
again,
player.
that's what the Heat do. They just get the most random players you never heard of in your life, put them out there, and they're always pretty solid. Oh, it's just how it is, man. That's why you should never, ever get one of them as free agents.
Yeah. P. Will supporter in the comments said, oh, great, Duncan Robinson averaging 24 a game over their last 2.
He is.
Not like Bulls love to leave elite shooters open. Also averaged 20 points in his first 2 games against the Bulls.
He dominated. I can't remember if it was the first or the second, but he scored they went the game where they went up 23-1 or something.
It was 22-1.
22. I just totally made that up. I'm surprised I was as close as I was. But
Yeah.
he had 9 out of those points. He was just
Crazy.
He went off.
Right around the same time, certain people had their feelings hurt about me yelling about how this team is a joke and an embarrassment and that they should do something about that.
But you're always saying that. Who gets their feelings hurt about that?
I just said it was funny timing because I was informed that certain people had their feelings hurt about my rant, and then they were down 22-1.
And then what happened?
That was sort of like the dark depths, that 2 home game miniseries against the Heat, where they did come back and win that game when they were down 22-1, which
That part.
is crazy.
That part right there.
But those 2 games also was the start of and it was after the Zach LaVine Shams report about being open to a trade.
Correct.
Those, that can of worms got opened. And in those 2 games, it was the first time in his Bulls career up to that point that he had consecutive games with 10 or fewer field goal attempts. Wow. And everybody was like, oh, Zach's checked out. God, what a crazy whirlwind the past month has been.
It's been something. Let's go see Kobe White do what he's been doing and hope Patrick Williams gets back on the consistency train. That would be nice to see. And let's watch the young guys, of course, and Julian Phillips and my main man, Dalen Terry. Get out there and get some tick. What's up?
Let's do it.
Let's go get a win. Why not?
Just watch out for Jaime Jaquez. That guy could play.
Oh.
He's been scoring like 15
Joey's
to 20
boy.
points off the bench for him.
Joey, first bucket?
Not, Joey's taking a break from first buckets. Thank you, everybody, for watching pregame. We appreciate you tuning in. Hit that like button. Flip side, I saw the compliment on the fit tonight. Appreciate you. We will be back here for postgame following Bulls Heat Part 3. Heat are shorthanded. Bulls are the Bulls. I have a feeling this is going to be a mucky, yucky game.
Oh, mucky.
But let's all go watch it together and then come back and talk about it.
Can't wait, man.
We will see you for post game. Until then, make sure you're following along with Will _Gottlieb for his thoughts, video posts, breakdowns, all that jazz.
He's smart.
Shout out to our guy Joe. We will see you for post game.
He's young.
It'll be good. Tip off.
Peace.
Suck it, Jimmy.
He did.
We all silly like the mayor.